Good afternoon. This is Michael from beautiful, gorgeous Scottsdale, Arizona. I am not a licensed stock and bond broker, nor am I a licensed financial planner. I am a licensed real estate broker here in the state of Arizona. I do a lot of investment work, and these videos are for your education and entertainment purposes only. For anything that you have any questions, you really should talk to your financial advisor. You're welcome to call me and your financial advisor to talk to both of you. And I would always talk to your significant other. Keep yourself out of trouble with that one. Here I am. You're talking today from my beautifully remodeled offices here in Scottsdale. So a couple things I want to talk about today. I have had some very astute listeners call me and ask about why do I advocate buying property now if we're going to have a correction in the real estate market. And these are very astute questions. So let me answer them as best I can. First off is cash flow. You know, we're income investors. We really only look for things that are safe, conservative, and that give us a cash flow each and every month. So we're looking for something that's going to give us a monthly income. So this monthly income is good in good times, and it's good in bad times. And it keeps coming in bad times. Unlike people who are in business. I mean, most of my clients were in business or they have high-paying jobs. Their job is impacted typically in a slowdown. So it's nice to have some extra income coming in, and that's the idea, is that if we buy some real estate today, particularly here in Scottsdale or in Phoenix, there's tons of places here that you can get a cash flow to. So that check comes in monthly, and it's a pretty conservative play. It's also an asset preservation play. So as we talk with Dr. Glenn Mueller, and as we talk with Walter Zimmerman, the real estate really is a little bit divorced from other assets, and it's a separate asset class. It certainly has some association with the economy. If the economy gets slowed down, why real estate slows down. But there's no correlation to the stock market. So if you have a panic on Wall Street, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a panic in the real estate business. And our cycle does not really kick in and end. I think the peak for our cycle, as we've discussed in previous ones, is around 2023. That's where I think we're going to have the peak, and I think it's going to grow until 2023. So we've got a long growth market. We have a little bit of correction. So the other reason in a correction, why wouldn't you just wait? Well, sure. Well, we're going to not take all the funds. I'm advocating you take a lot of your profits off the stock market, 50 to 75%. I take all my profits. I take 50 to 75% of the funds. Now, you don't have to reinvest them in real estate for all that. A lot of that stuff should probably go in cash, something very conservative. 30-day T-bills, U.S. dollar, maybe some inverse ETFs, although those can be pretty aggressive, so that's not for everybody. But the reason I'm saying this is asset preservation and financing. You can get wonderful financing right now. We can get 4.5% 30-year fixed rate financing on these properties. Now, we want to get our properties free and clear as quickly as possible. So these 30-year mortgages, they're all come with no prepayment penalty, so you can go ahead and reamortize. And as we have a strategy for that as well. So we want to get them free and clear as quickly as you can. And quite honestly, we get them done between 14 and 17 years. Typically, our properties are free and clear. And then we really, once they're free and clear, what a great feeling! What a great feeling that is. So those are typically why I want you to do cash flow. We want cash flow, particularly if we have as I believe we're going to, and a lot of other advisors are saying, is that I think we're going to have some kind of either a slowdown or a recession. We've got some pretty low levels of growth at the moment. If it's not negative, it's pretty doggone low. So it's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, I've been through 5 or 6 recessions, 7 recessions. The last one was pretty tough, but we all come through it. Nice thing about a recession is they start, but they always end. And we're looking to position ourselves for the end of that recession. So I'm looking at interest rates that are historically low, and because the word is historically low, that means that they probably won't stay here. So as a real estate investor, we look 5 years out, typically 10. So 5 years from now, are we going to be able to get financing at 4.5%? Gosh, maybe, probably not. So we'd like to pick up some of this long-term money at this rate. Now, I wouldn't advocate that if you take 75% of your funds out of the stock and bond market, that you take all of it and put it in real estate. I think that would be silly. But you should take probably 25 or 30% of it and just kind of get a toehold so that you've got some things coming in, and then we'll buy properties as the opportunities come along. If we get a really good deal, then we can go ahead and do that. But just keep in mind that if we have a problem with the economy, you may not be able to finance it. So we're going to be looking at a lot of cash transactions. So if you are going to finance, now's the time to do that. Now, let me just toot my horn as to why I think real estate is going to come, particularly here in Phoenix. I office out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Scottsdale is just stunningly beautiful. So let me just talk about Scottsdale. Scottsdale has the Mayo Clinic. We have and just in North Phoenix, we have the Mayo Clinic Hospital. The Mayo Clinic just opened up its school, so we have the first year of students at the Mayo Clinic. So that's going to grow. We have along the Shea Boulevard, it's called the Cure Corridor. We have the Mayo Clinic that's anchoring it, but we're getting a lot of startup companies, a lot of genetic companies. I think TGen is just came in. And Scottsdale itself is looking to attract medical companies, and they are working very hard to do that. So we have the Cure Corridor, and it's been very, very successful. In 5 or 10 years, that's going to add 10,000 employees. Now, right along 101 on the east side of Scottsdale, you have the 101, which is really sitting on Indian land. It's leased land, but on either side of the expressway, the 101, it's the largest unimproved segment of freeway in the United States. Largest unimproved segment of freeway in the United States. And quite honestly, the growth is already starting. We have hotels and casinos, and we have office buildings and manufacturing, and we have entertainment. That whole section is just going to explode. Excuse me. And we're going to have 50 to 100,000 people working there in the next 10 years. Now, if you just talk about the Scottsdale Air Park, Scottsdale Air Park is under redevelopment, and 25 years ago, most of the buildings were 1 or 2 stories. Now they can go up to multi-stories, and that redevelopment is taking place. We're attracting all kinds of industries coming in, and we're going to be adding in the next 10 years 50 to 60,000 more jobs. So just think of that. This is just a little Scottsdale. Now, Scottsdale's it's a wonderful town, but in Scottsdale alone, we're looking at 110,000 new jobs that will be coming in the next 10 years. Now, if we just go further north and we start ringing the city, in the north section of the city, we have, in the Desert Ridge area, we have BLM land, Bureau of Land Management land, and that land goes for 6 and 7, 8 miles. That is going to be a sea of houses. As far as you can see, it's only 1/6 developed. In the next 10 years, it's all going to develop. And if you just start thinking about going over to the west side, we have the Route 303. 303 is the truck route. That whole truck route is virtually vacant. It's going to be filled with industrial warehouses and housing, malls, and the whole area all the way to the mountains is going to fill in. So, and then if you head to the south, we have the largest chip plant in the world. We have Intel. Intel's got they're still building. It's just a huge complex. We have ASU that's working with the Mars Land Rover. We just have enormous things going. We have no tornadoes. We have no hurricanes. We have no earthquakes here in Phoenix. We have 2 watersheds. We have the Salt River and the Verde River. One comes off the Rocky Mountains. The other one comes off the Mogollon Rim. And they are 2 different weather systems. We've never, ever in the history of Phoenix ever had a drought here from both of them. One or the other, but not both. And they both come right through the middle of Phoenix, so we have plenty of water coming in. Now, we expect 1 million to 3.5 million new population in metropolitan Phoenix in the next 10 years. Now, the west side of Phoenix is being called the Inland Harbor. And here's something that's just so telling in today's society, is that a lot of manufacturers are finding that it's actually less money to freight the property, truck their equipment coming in off of the harbors in Los Angeles, to put it on a truck and drive it to Phoenix, right to the outskirts of Phoenix, and warehouse it off to the 303. Now, we have terrific transportation, but they can distribute from there, and it's less money than doing it in California. And they have to truck it Pardon me, 200 miles. So we expect to get an awful lot of things from California. California has trouble with their taxes. They have trouble with their. It's not a right to work state. They have all kinds of problems. Here in Arizona, we're a right to work state. We have excellent transportation. We have excellent schools. Property taxes are reasonable here. Housing is very reasonable. So you can bring your employees here and they can buy a house. They have a future here. So these are all the good things that are happening here in Phoenix metropolitan statistical area, the MSA. We're going to grow like mad. So we're going to gain maybe 25% in population, but we could go as high as 80% more people in the next 10 years. It's hard to imagine, but that's what's going to happen. So these are the cycles that we're looking at. We think that virtually everything that you buy here in Phoenix eventually is going to be really, really good. We might have some soft patch, but here again, we're income investors. We think that you're going to be able to buy a place. We're blessed. We're just blessed with very, very good properties at a very reasonable price. Remember, we were a poster child for problems in a 2008, 2009, 2010 downturn. We still haven't reached anywhere near where we were. So some really good opportunities here. It's great for your cash flow. I think that we're heading down pretty rapidly. So if you get a chance, you should be really removing money from the stock and bond market as quickly as you possibly can. And you're welcome to contact me. We're here. We'll take very good care of you. You are welcome to be as active as an investor as you'd like. You can run your whole investment. We'll hold your hand if you'd like, or you can have us do everything for you. We'll find a tenant for you. We'll manage the property and send you a check at the end of the month. So I'm here in Scottsdale. It is Friday. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous weekend. So I'm wishing you the very, very best. Have a good day now. Bye-bye.